I ask what it feels like to be you after 27 years in business, seeing that you've taken this shift after being at FAF for that week and that impact seminar? What does it feel like having run a business for this long and realizing that you've still got so far to go and so much more to do? What does that feel like as a business owner? I'm very inspired by it, I have to say.
So I would say before FAF, before my transformation, I was working tired, chasing money, unexciting, and just going day to day without any purpose, just building sales. So the difference here now is I'm a happy tired. I get tired from working, but I'm very happy at the same time because I'm now operating with intentional purpose. Intentional purpose to make the world a better place. Yeah. So that's intentional.
Mapper Forward is bringing a new perspective to the Japanese coffee industry with Mapper Forward Japan. Every 2 weeks, we're highlighting a selected series from the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, translated and available in Japanese on our YouTube channel. Follow along on our new Instagram account, Mapper Forward Japan, where we'll share industry commentary, episode clips, and market updates, all in Japanese. And if you're in the Japanese coffee industry, join our mailing list for updates and exclusive content, also in Japanese. All the details are at mapperforward.coffee/Japan, and we'd love you to share this information with your Japanese friends in the coffee industry. Check the show notes for details. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 4 of a really wonderful series where we're talking about how do we reduce the carbon footprint of coffee. Now, folks, I've joined by Kelvin from Origine and Coffex in Malaysia. And you may hear the theme of this series and think, oh, that's boring, like carbon footprint. It has never been more important for you to care about the carbon footprint of your role in coffee, because things are getting really, really serious with regards to our ability to grow coffee and our ability to get coffee around the world. Now, in this episode, Kelvin, we're talking about the cost of sustainability versus the expense of humanity and food security. When it comes to food security, help people understand the seriousness of that situation.
Okay, so if the climate gets worse, all the farmable land are getting reduced, and all the supply will be affected. And that directly will contribute to the scarcity of the food source, of what we buy and what we eat. You can see beef price going up when climates are hot because there's just less grass for the cattle to graze on. You can see coffee price increasing because the supplies are affected. You can see cacao prices gone haywire just about 2 years ago when it's affected by climate. And it gets worse. So if, let's say, for example, taking coffee, what we experienced about 1.5 years ago in Vietnam, and when we saw the prices of Robusta went up 2.4 times, 2.6 times actually. Before that, the coffee price was low and people are starting to move into other agricultural crops that can give them more money. Because coffee price was low and then the yields was very much affected by climate situation. So the danger is once the farmer change crops, they're not going to return back because Marcos told me everything takes 10 years. So every time you plant something to mature a tree, to harvest, it takes a 10-year process.
Investment.
Not to say the first crop of coffee is in 10 years. No, you can get the first crop of coffee in a matter of 3 years, in a matter of 4 years. But you're not going to have one cycle and then change. Once you plant something, it's easily a 10-year cycle. So you will maintain that crop for at least 10 years. Once people move away from coffee, they're not returning back. When the land gets unfarmable, they're not coming back. They just do something else.
And the succession situation is getting very difficult based on what you've just said. The next generation of business owners is looking at coffee and they're looking at the volatility of this pricing. And just this week, I have fielded 3 calls from farmers, young farmers, the next generation of farmers saying, Lee, I've been doing this for the last couple of years. This volatility is crazy. If you know anyone that's looking for a coffee farm, I'm selling. Because now that the price is going back down below $3, they can't see the value proposition in it anymore. They just don't like the instability of it. And they would much rather either sell the farm or pull up the coffee plants and plant something else.
I don't see the coffee prices coming back down to 170. I don't see it.
Where do you think they'll rest? Because they were down below. They went, I think, as low as 278 yesterday. Where do you think they'll settle?
So if you say 270 is the lower side that we are seeing this year so far, on the lower side.
Uh-huh.
If you compare the same period of last year, we are still substantially much higher. So the danger part is that if in the same period we are seeing this as higher, where's the highest mark? Where's the highest going to be? Is it going to be breaching 400 again? We don't know. It may be. If the climate goes are not favorable to coffee farming, it very well may go above 400 again. So for now, just enjoy. If you are seeing this as low point, just enjoy this period that you can pick up some coffee at a decent value in the background of where it was just a couple of months ago. We can hedge it and do business. But if you are trying to hunt always the lowest point, I think that's it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. You're just chasing that little pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. It's going to be tough.
In your mind, what is the cost of sustainability? If we talk in very general terms, what if we look at cost being not just defined by money, and if we say that money is one resource that it costs us, what is the cost, and what are the resources that it costs us for sustainability?
Everything we produce, everything we consume, there is a cost. But the cost could be from waste. Because ultimately, when we're selling something to somebody, everyone's trying to compete on prices. So I found it very tricky when we are dealing with commodities. So once you deal with commodities, customers expect the product to be the same. And then they are just chasing for the best deal. And hence, why us as a company, we want to move away from commodity. How to make our coffee special? What are the features makes our coffee different? So I found that by added value of sourcing our coffee ethically from farmers that are responsible farmers that are contributing positively to mitigate climate change, sequestering carbon, looking after the human side, like no child labor, looking after the welfare of the people in the farm, education. So all the good things you find in ESG, we want to support those good, responsible farmers.
Right.
So then we are not trying to chase buying the cheapest coffee, because buying the cheapest coffee is not going to be good for everyone. Costs will come. If you buy the cheapest coffee, where's the cost coming from? Where? I can explain to you.
Yeah, please.
The cost is coming from the farmer always find the cheapest way to produce a coffee. What do I need to do in order to get the most yield? And ultimately, it's not about quality. It's about just yields. So they may be pumped full of chemicals. They may be pumping full of fertilizer to just achieve the goal of having a higher yield. But is that being responsible to our planet? Maybe not. So we have to start questioning, because every input there is and output. Every action, there is a reaction. So is this action going to be positively impact, contributing to a reaction, or negative?
Right.
Right? So everything we do, there is a result. There is a reaction from our action.
Cause and effect.
Cause and effect. Correct.
To
Correct.
quote the formidable Morpheus from
Yeah,
Matrix.
that's a cause and effect. So ultimately, we as a humanity, what are we contributing to? Are we contributing to just buying the cheapest coffee to consume? No, right? We want to buy tasty coffee to consume. But then we are dealing with some customers or some part of the industry that are just buying things at the cheapest point. But there's always going to be a cost around to it. Like buying the cheapest milk quality, you please don't expect the quality to be good. If you buy
Or healthy.
focus or cheap, yeah, healthy. There's some.
Can I ask, how do you define quality?
How do I define quality? I think if it comes from a taste aspect, then of course there is a
Do
scale.
you come from a taste aspect? Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, I come
Geez,
from
quality-
all angles.
Okay, great.
Because we do invest in quality system. So the consistency of product that has low defect count, product that has what do you call it? Low foreign matter. That's not just quality that you can taste, that quality that you can measure.
It's integrity.
Integrity.
That's integrity.
Quality that you can also send for lab tests to verify that it's not there's got low chemical, there's no synthetics in there, there's minimum of no glyphosate residue in the ground. So these are the integrity part that we measure, but not necessarily something that most coffee company measure, but this is something we measure because we need to know ultimately what we consume. Is it good for our health? We want to produce coffee that's good also for our health, good also for environment. What we explain earlier, mono, the product has to be good for mankind, the planet, nature, and our karma. So we have to operate in a very high ethical and very integrity manner.
I have to ask you, for the people that are out there that are rolling their eyes at a conversation like this and saying, this is all bullshit. I just want to run a business. It's my job to get coffee out the door and customers do not want to pay for this.
Okay. I just give you a real life example, right? So 2 customers. One customer buys decent quality coffee, what we supply or what we suggest to them. Or they can buy coffee cheaper somewhere else. And you can compare. The one that's supplying cheaper coffee usually do not taste as good. I mean, that's the equation. Quality, price has to be translatable to taste that you can assess. So technically, you are putting out cheap coffee into the market for a customer to pay for, and it's not tasting. What are you trying to do? You are trying to get the customer to pay for the coffee and kick the customer out the door because you're serving bad quality coffee. So you're trying to, instead of attracting more customers, you're trying to get rid of customers yourself. That's what you're trying to do. So why are people doing that? They spend a lot of money on marketing just to bring customers in. But then if they fail to deliver a good quality to customers, it's technically asking the customers to get off, right? If you can understand that context, why we need to supply good quality coffee is to attract customers to drink and to get them to be a loyal customers. And you do business and you make money out of it. But
we're back to relationships.
Yeah, by serving bad quality coffee, you're just asking the customers you're paying for this coffee, very low price. Please don't expect something good. You're just asking the customer to go away to find a better quality of coffee somewhere else.
I've never heard anybody put it that clearly. I really appreciate that. That's going to be the clip for this episode that we're going to put on social media.
We do comparisons between customers of the same industry. Why are some customers doing better, and why are some customers doing worse? Although they are at the same price point. One just cut corners in terms of quality and where they source the coffee, and one don't. That's the only difference.
And you've seen that
I've seen that.
in
I
your
have
local
data.
industry.
Yeah, I have data of. I'm not going to say who and where, but
No.
data in comparison for customers of the same industry on the same marketplace.
Can I ask what it feels like to be you after 27 years in business? Seeing that you've taken this shift after being at FAF for that week and that impact seminar, what does it feel like having run a business for this long and realizing that you've still got so far to go and so much more to do? What does that feel like as a business owner? I'm very inspired by it, I have to say.
So I would say before FAF, before my transformation, I was working tired, chasing money, unexciting, and just going day to day without any purpose, just building sales. So the difference here now is I'm a happy tired. I get tired from working, but I'm very happy at the same time because I'm now operating with intentional purpose. Intentional purpose to make the world a better place. Yeah. So that's intentional. And this is not just a trait of my company. This is a trait. So I can show you. I mean, this is my little planner for the year. So we did the pivot last year. Even before I went to FAF, we did a pivot as a company. Where do we want to go? You know, what's our mission? So I can show you my mission. So our vision is to create a happier and greener world through coffee. That's our vision.
Yeah,
and
I love that.
That sets everything, what we do, in that correct direction. So ultimately, everything we do now, we intentionally look for every step or every decision we make. How do we make the world a better place? So from our product we source, from where they're coming from the packaging. So we're now using let me get the packaging here. So the wheat packaging. So these are packaging made from sugarcane pulp and bio inner lining. And we are working towards trying to source even better and better packaging, because ultimately in the coffee industry, the typical packaging is aluminum OPP. And we know that these are not recyclable, and these will end up only in landfill. So we are working to find the best possible packaging. We are testing some packaging in my land now that compostable. We are doing some tests. So we want to see how far can we go in terms of getting a more sustainable packaging together with our coffee. So everything Mono is heading, the brand is heading. Everything I put a brand into, Mono brand into it, has to have a story. It has to have a technology of sustainability into it.
Are you excited about the work that you're doing?
Super excited.
Which is different than before, right?
Yeah, because even the people I come in contact with are very different. Yeah. These are all the people I come in contact with. We can filter them out. These are people with heart, with a lot of heart.
100%.
Yeah, versus the people who are just interested in for the dollars. They're very different type of people, and they're very different type of customers, partners, stakeholders. They're very different. And I'm so glad to be in this space and to work alongside all these wonderful people that we meet.
I love it.
It's karma.
I love it.
Karma.
It is. This is the karma part of Mono.
Yes.
This is, thank you for Felipe. Thank you for introducing Kelvin and I. I really appreciate it. I just wanted that to be a record.
So they planted a little seed in me to get me thinking, and now I'm planting this seed to everybody I meet, just to make them think a little bit about the purpose of our existence.
And it's very clear to see people like us. Like, it's very clear, like, we have a very similar value system, and you know, I knew from watching what you guys are doing on social media, I could see that we had a brand alignment and that we had a philosophical alignment. It's also very easy to see the people who are not like us. It's once you see it, you can never unsee it. And I think as an industry, this is a demarcation that we're entering a phase where this kind of foresight is going to be much more instrumental in defining the future of our industry. So for the final episode of this series, folks, we're going to ask this very pivotal question. Can the industry survive if we don't focus now on recalculating our carbon footprint? And a part of that is, can we survive if we choose the wrong partners in business? So join us for the final episode of this series in the next episode. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. This episode is part of a 5-part series produced by Mapper Forward. Check the full playlist and guest details in the show notes, as well as how you can support our work in the coffee industry. Become a premium YouTube subscriber, explore our Patreon and any brands we've partnered with to bring you this podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us grow our audience.